Hi everybody! Today I'm going to be making twice baked potatoes with roasted garlic for some really amazing flavor. So this is going to be a basic recipe. You can change it up as you see fit, but this one is going to get you going, and I'll tell you, it's great just as it is. So I'm Rockin' Robin, and I'm going to show you how to do it right after this. So let me go over the ingredients with you, and I'll tell you a little bit about each one. So everything I'm using today is organic. So I have organic russet potatoes here, and you can see that they're not super large like you get in the conventional ones. And russet potatoes, or potatoes in general, have a lot of pesticides on them, and so you really should be buying yours organic. Here I have some roasted garlic that I've already roasted, and I'm going to leave a link for you if you need to know how to do that down below in the description. We're going to need a little bit of sour cream, salt, pepper, some butter. I have some chives right here, a little bit of white cheddar cheese, and some whole milk, and that's it. We're going to start off with our potatoes. I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees, and I've already washed, rinsed, and scrubbed these potatoes so that they're nice and clean. And I'm just going to go ahead and just poke a few holes into the skin just to help release some of the pressure. Take a little bit of olive oil, I forgot to mention that in our beginning where I was showing you all the instructions, and just going to place a little bit of oil on each one and just lightly coat this in. So I'm just rubbing each potato. Now, being that these are small, or on the smaller side for russets, they're probably not going to take as long to cook. So these will probably take anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour. So I'm going to place these in, I'm going to check them at 30 and just see where they're at, and then I will test them with a fork to see that, how much resistance there is. So in the oven these go. My potatoes were done after about 50 minutes, and of course, like I said, I stuck my fork into them, and I could see that there was very little resistance, and they were done. So now we're ready. I'd let them cool for about 5 minutes, and now we're ready to cut them. Now, like I said, some of these are small. This one here is large enough that I will go ahead and I will cut it in half. So just take your knife and carefully cut it. Try not to tear the skin. You can see the steam coming out of there. Probably let it sit for just a little bit. Now this one is a little bit smaller, and it's too small really to cut it in half. So what I'm going to do is going to cut the top third of it off, just so I can expose it and get in there and be able to scoop out the potato. Okay, so just take that off like that. And now we can go ahead and scoop this out. Take a spoon and just work your way around the potato. You want to leave about 1/4 inch of the potato in there. And I'm going to place this into a bowl. Okay, so we got all of these skins, or all of the potato halves, hollowed out, and you can see what that looks like. I heated up my milk and butter in the microwave. I wanted to get this hot. You always want to add hot milk and butter to your potatoes. But first what we're going to do is I'm going to pour this into a blender. You could also use a food processor if you want to, because we're going to add our garlic to that. And I want to make sure that the garlic is broken down into nice, very small pieces. That's why we're putting it in the blender. I don't want to find big chunks in my potatoes. And you can add as much of this as you want. So I'm going to scoop out the little cloves, place them into my blender, and we're going to blend this up. All right, so let's go ahead and pour. We're not going to pour all of our milk in here because we're not sure how much we're going to need. All right, but we do want it to be softer than you might think. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of that. I'm going to add my sour cream to this. Potatoes need salt, and they need a fair amount. So we're going to give this a nice little coating of salt and some pepper. And I'm going to mash these up. All right, so right here, you can see here that this is still a little thick, and we want to make sure it's moist enough so it's nice and creamy, as it bakes, because it's going to dry out some. So I'm going to add a little bit more of my milk garlic mixture. That should do it. Hopefully. And we want to give this a little taste, because I'm adding salt now. I don't want to do that or try and do that later. Let's give it a little taste and see where we're at. Needs a little more salt. Not too much, but just a little bit more. Now I'm gonna add a little bit more of my milk mixture because it's just not quite soft enough the way I want it to be, nice and creamy. So now I'm gonna add some cheese to this. And I'm gonna take a nice handful, you know, just a handful, like this, guys, and just drop it in there. I'm gonna take the chives, and I got my little scissors here, and I'm just gonna cut little pieces into the bowl. And you can add as much as you like to this. So now we're ready. Let me get a bigger spoon, and we're gonna give this a nice stir to combine everything. Now all we have to do is fill our potato boats, as I like to call them. And you want to fill them so that they are mounding a bit. So I'm gonna push it in there and then, you know, put a little extra on top so that they kind of mound up a little bit. And then of course we're gonna add a little more cheese to the top of this. You know, guys, you could make this for Thanksgiving, let's say, and get it to this point where you've got them all, you know, stuffed and ready to go, and do it the day before to save you some time. And then when you're ready to bake them and serve them, you just put them in the oven at this point, and you're done. And it makes it very, very simple. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is sprinkle this with as much cheese as you want. I'm just gonna go with a little bit, not too much. It's gonna melt down. This is gonna be nice and cheesy and delicious. Goes great with, you know, any kind of meat that you wanna serve it up with, steak, chicken, anything, turkey. Okay, so we're gonna pop these in the oven, and it's gonna take about 15 to 20 minutes. All we wanna do is have that cheese melt and make sure that stuffing here in the potato is nice and hot. All right, I just took these out of the oven. They are nice and hot. They look really delicious. And I'm gonna take one here. Let's take this one here because it's nice and flat. I'll just put it on my plate. And I chopped up a few more chives. You can sprinkle them on top. Makes it look really pretty. So there you have it, guys. Super easy to make these. They're delicious. Like I said, they're a great dish for Thanksgiving or the day after for maybe a change of pace. Perfect, right? Okay, so let's cut into this and you can see it. I'm gonna take a little taste. Oh, that's gonna be hot. And you can eat, you know, obviously the whole thing, the skin and all. Nice and creamy, delicious. I love the garlic. In my opinion, it's the garlic that really makes this, guys. You gotta have that garlic in there, and you need to roast it in the oven first. It's an extra step, but it is definitely worth it. So I hope you guys will give this a try. It's delicious. Leave me a comment if you do. Let me know how you like it. And tell me how you make your twice baked potatoes. You may have some variations that, you know, might be really delicious. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, click that button. I'd love to have you as a fan, and you'll be notified of new videos every week as they come out. So, and if you have any requests for me, any videos you'd like to see me make, leave them in the comments below. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you next time.